Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue dans une nouvelle vidéo sur Learn to French. Je m'appelle Eden et j'enseigne le français. Hello and welcome to another video on Learn to French. If you are new here, my name is Eden and I teach French. Aujourd'hui, on va travailler sur quelques verbes pronominaux, reflexive verbs, and this lesson is going to be in English for English speakers who would like to understand how reflexive verbs work in French. Donc c'est un cours sur la grammaire. So this is a grammar lesson in French explained in English. You might not know what reflexive verbs are, but you actually learn them very early. And there is actually one reflexive verb that you learn very early on. So it's in one of the first sentences you learn in French. The first reflexive verb that you learn in French is most likely s'appeler. S'appeler. Does this ring a bell to you? S'appeler? You can find it in je m'appelle and then your name. Je m'appelle Marie. Je m'appelle Eden. And what makes the difference here is this M apostrophe or me before the verb. So what is this? This is what we call the reflexive pronoun. So a reflexive verb is a verb made up of a reflexive pronoun. In the infinitive form, you will see it this way. Se, and then the verb se lever. If the verb is starting with a vowel or a silent H, then the S will become an S apostrophe just to link it to the verb. So, se lever, s'appeler, and not se appeler. So, a reflexive pronoun is what is added before the conjugated verb. In the infinitive form, se is the reflexive pronoun, or S apostrophe for verbs that begin with a vowel, as we've seen previously. First person singular, je, second person singular, tu, etc. So, for first person singular, it's me or m, like we've seen in je m'appelle. Okay, so short form of me, M apostrophe. Second person singular for tu t'appelles, or te. Tu te lèves or tu t'appelles. Te or T apostrophe. Third person singular, se or se. First person plural, nous. The reflexive pronoun is nous as well. Second person plural, vous. The reflexive pronoun is also vous. So you will double it. So for example, for je m'appelle, so you have je, the subject, and the reflexive pronoun, M apostrophe, and then appelle, the conjugated verb. For nous or vous, you will basically say, nous nous appelons, vous vous appelez, je m'appelle, tu t'appelles, il s'appelle, elle s'appelle, nous nous appelons, vous vous appelez, il s'appelle, plural. So se and S apostrophe as well for third person plural. So what are the differences between non-reflexive verbs and reflexive verbs? Let's take a closer look. For the verb chanter, here it's non-reflexive. Je chante, tu chantes, il, elle chante, nous chantons, vous chantez, il, elle chante. Now let's add in a reflexive verb, se réveiller, to wake up. Je me réveille, tu te réveilles, il, elle se réveille. Nous nous réveillons. Vous vous réveillez. Il, elle se réveille. Now, visually, you see that there's the reflexive pronoun between the subject pronoun, je, tu, il, nous, vous, il, and the conjugated verb. So keep in mind that a verb can be at the same time a reflexive verb, and there's also a non-reflexive version of that verb. So if we were to think about it more logically, it would be the non-reflexive verb that has a reflexive version. Let's take a look at this. Se lever, which is the reflexive verb, and lever, just the non-reflexive form of lever, right? So, se lever is actually the act of moving oneself from the bottom to the top. Se lever. So to get up, to get oneself up, to lift oneself up. Se lever. Se here is actually the equivalent of oneself in English. So it's applying to oneself. Je me lève, I get myself up. So I'm getting myself up if I say je me lève. What am I getting up? Myself. Me. Lever, the non-reflexive verb. Lever, quelque chose ou quelqu'un. So it has to be completed with something else. Lever is the act of moving something or someone from the bottom to the top, which is different from what we've seen earlier. Se lever is getting oneself up. Here, you're moving something or someone else from the bottom to the top. So here, for example, je lève mon fils. I am lifting my son up. Now, I'm not lifting myself up anymore. Je lève mon fils. So we've removed the me and we've added mon fils after. Réveiller versus se réveiller. Je me réveille ou je réveille mon fils. So the concept is the same. Donc, je me réveille. I am waking myself up. And je réveille mon fils. I'm waking my son up. La question importante, the important question to keep in mind here is je réveille qui ou quoi? Who or what am I waking up here? Who or what am I waking up? Je me réveille. I wake myself up. Je réveille mon fils. I wake my son. Donc, comment est-ce qu'on conjugue les verbes pronominaux? How do we conjugate in the present tense reflexive verbs? For affirmative sentences, you have the subject, so je, tu, il, nous, vous, il, or simply Eden, Marie, le chat, la chaise, so it has to be the subject, plus the reflexive pronoun, me, te, se, nous, vous, ce, and then the conjugated verb. So we have je me lève, tu te lèves, il se lève, and so on. For negative sentences, for negation, you have the subject and then ne from the negation, reflexive pronoun, verb, and pas, which comes after. How do we visualize this? Je m'appelle. Je ne m'appelle pas. So you see ne and pas, and in between you have the reflexive pronoun and the conjugated verb. M'appelle. Tu t'appelles. Tu ne t'appelles pas. Il s'appelle. Il ne s'appelle pas. Elle s'appelle. Elle ne s'appelle pas. Nous nous appelons. Nous ne nous appelons pas. Now in this case, you see, it's nous nous appelons for affirmative sentences and nous ne nous appelons pas. Vous vous appelez. Vous ne vous appelez pas. Il s'appelle. Il ne s'appelle pas. Elle s'appelle. Elle ne s'appelle pas. Donc maintenant, so we've been through the basics of reflexive verb and hopefully this helped you understand what reflexive verbs are. I can also elaborate in the near future this concept when it comes to conjugating reflexive verbs with other tenses because we've seen the present tense. So what happens with other tenses? Voilà, donc j'espère que vous avez aimé cette petite vidéo. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer. Merci beaucoup d'être resté avec moi aujourd'hui et je vous dis à très bientôt pour une nouvelle vidéo sur Learn to French. Au revoir.